Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia in January of 1929. The son and grandson of Baptist ministers, he joined the ministry in 1948. In June of 1953, Dr. King married Alabama-born Coretta Scott. Together, they would have 4 children, all of whom would eventually become civil rights activists. The following year, Dr. King was made pastor of Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, a city that was about to dominate headlines in the fight for civil rights.
As a child, when I got on the bus, the sign above the driver's head read colored seat from the rear, whites from the front. Those who violate will be punished by law. There were in my hometown no African-American bus drivers, no black salespeople in downtown Greenville. We did not have the right to vote. My father was a veteran. We could not borrow money from the banks, could not work in the banks as tellers, could not own a radio or TV station or a media outlet, could not do other than menial jobs in the textile industry. So it took the form of radical, rigid apartheid, just one step above slavery. The 54 Supreme Court decision changed the legal predicate, the legal assumptions, but the practice remains. 54 Supreme Court decision, which made apartheid illegal in 1954, was challenged in 1955, and Rosa Parks refused to go to the back of the bus.
Rosa Parks' refusal to go to the back of the bus might have been just a temporary thing. I didn't know it was going to take on the proportions it did.
Just the other day, one of the fine citizens of our community, Mrs. Rosa Parks, was arrested because she refused to give up her seat for a white passenger.
And he said, if you don't stand up, I'm going to have you arrested. And so I was arrested. He had 2 officers, policemen, to come on the bus to escort me to the jail. I didn't have to stay very long, but it was quite a humiliating way to be treated. And following my being arrested, the people in Montgomery decided that they would not ride the bus anymore until some changes were made.
Dr. King led the call for a boycott on the bus company while challenging the process in court. He said to her, better that we walk in dignity than ride in shame. But it took an entire year boycott just to win that small victory in Montgomery, Alabama.
We stayed off the buses 381 days. And when we did go back to the buses, we didn't have any more segregation.
So in many ways, the combination of the resentment and resistance to a long train of abuses, her singular act of courage, Dr. King's presence and articulation, those forces converged. So it's like chronos, as the Greeks would say, the fullness of man's time, and kairos, the fullness of God's time, came together and exploded with new possibility. And one might call that the real birth of the modern civil rights struggle for the last half of the 20th century.